It's bad. Yeah, it's
We have front playing seats down here on the left and on the right if you folks would like to get one more time. We'll give you a minute. The meeting has come to order. Clerk will call the roll.
Here.
Dr. Lott?
Here.
Mr. Lyda?
Here.
Admiral Adams?
Here.
Mr. Stark?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Wright?
Here. If Weeblos would come down with our Boy Scouts and our Cub Scouts, they're going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance after the invocation. So let's give them a minute to come down here and come in front of the diocese if they would. Glad to have a good representation tonight. If their leader would come to we have a scout leader in charge.
I'll be in charge.
We like to charge, guys. Okay, we got another scout coming here. Flag's gonna be right here over my shoulder. So if we could stand for the invocation, followed by the pledge.
Let us pray. Lord, as we begin the busy preparations for Thanksgiving, help us to prepare our hearts in gratitude for our many blessings. We are thankful for the freedom to celebrate holidays and gather together with our family and friends. We pray for those around the world who are not as fortunate. We ask that you would bestow your wisdom and guidance upon this mayor and city council today and every day in their service to the citizens of this city. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Wait on the scouts.
Praise the flag. Scouts salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Scouts want to stand here and get together. We're going to picture. Y'all, big guys in the back, little guys in the front. Look this way. Big guys in the back, all the way down.
Yeah, maybe somebody spot here. Can y'all squat down? Let's get you in too. Let's see. The little fellow with the
Any more
glasses.
scout leaders want to be in the picture? Okay, let's everybody look at the gentleman in the blue shirt.
All right, all three. One, two. We're good to go.
Thank y'all very much for coming. Under reports, we have a proclamation on Epilepsy Awareness Month. Mr. Walter. We have a recipient for the epilepsy flag. Y'all. Laura, help me. Mr. Walter.
Proclamation for Epilepsy Awareness Month. Whereas epilepsy is a neurological disorder producing brief disturbances in the normal electrical functions of the brain, but temporarily affects a person's consciousness, bodily movements, and/or sensations, while creating long-term effects on the lifestyle of individuals with epilepsy. And whereas 1 in 26 people will develop epilepsy, and 1 in 10 people will have a seizure in their lifetime. And whereas epilepsy can affect anyone, no matter what their gender, race, age, religion, educational background, or socioeconomic status. And whereas epilepsy is more common than Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, and cerebral palsy combined. And whereas epilepsy affects more than 65 million people worldwide. And whereas, while there is no cure for epilepsy, drug therapy, surgery, and other non-pharmacological treatments exist, allowing approximately 80% of individuals with epilepsy to lead a normal life with either no seizures or a significant reduction in seizures. And whereas epilepsy is a complex disorder that requires further research to find a cure and prevention, and whereas the annual observance of Epilepsy Awareness Month advocates for the rights, humane treatment, and appropriate education of all persons with epilepsy, while raising awareness with families, professionals, and the general public to better understand this lifelong disorder. And now, therefore, I, Gary Ivey, Mayor of the City of Hoover, Alabama, do hereby proclaim November 2014 as Epilepsy Awareness Month and encourage all citizens to join me in recognizing the importance of this month. Proclaim this 17th day of November 2014, executed by Mayor Ivey on behalf of the city as well as Council President Jack Wright.
Y'all spread out.
Thank you all. Mayor, I understand you have an appointment to the Planning and Zoning Committee.
Yes, sir, we got one appointment, you need me on the mic, Martha? You got it. I'd like to appoint Mark Schroeder as our last appointment on Planning and Zoning. We have an opening there, and I'd like to recommend him.
Mr. Schroeder.
I think he's here tonight.
Mr.
sir.
Schroeder, if you stand up,
Yes, sir.
good to see you here too. We know you'll do a great job as you've been a premier citizen for many years. Adding on that, I think we have some library appointments.
Yes, Mr. President, we'd like to move that Eloise Martins and Sarah Raskin be reappointed to the library board.
Need a second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. And they're reappointed, if the clerk will so notify. Our next exciting part, we had celebrated Veterans Week last week with great success. And we're very thrilled to have our own police lieutenant, Trey Bassett, colonel, by the looks of the uniform in the Air Force, and a veteran of the Mideast in the last few years, I might say. But he'll be our MC. He's the chairman of the Veterans Committee for this evening, and he has some awards and recognition to give us.
Thank you, sir. Mayor, thank you. I'm Trey Bass. As Councilman Wright said, I work with the police department here, but I'm also a member of the Veterans Committee. I'd like to thank Captain Robert Beatty, who can't be with us tonight. He's the chairman of the Veterans Committee, as well as I think we have quite a few members who are actually traveling tonight. They're aware, I don't know if y'all are aware, the Veterans Committee in Hoover is comprised of military members, former military members, and also community leaders. They want to come together and show our gratitude for people that served our great country in the armed forces. This year we celebrated our 10th anniversary. We kicked off our 10th event, and it was awesome. The support we received from the city, the support we received from our citizens is just beyond belief. I, for one, am very touched with what we're able to do. But this year, the events were scattered throughout the community, as well as a poster competition in our schools, as well as a flag lowering ceremony every day at our library. Do we have Veterans Committee members here today? All right. If y'all could stand to be recognized. Mr. Winslow, always an honor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being here. If I could get Pam and Lauren come up here and help. We're going to hand out some certificates, and then if council indulge me for just a minute after we do this, say a couple words to the kids.
You're in charge.
Hi, everyone. Tonight we'll first be presenting certificates and awards to our local artists. We did have a poster competition, and 15 students from the Hoover City School System are going to be awarded a $25 gift certificate to Barnes & Noble as well as our certificate. So if y'all will just come down whenever your name is called, and after all the names have been called, we'll take a group picture. Oh, just stay down here. So Caitlin Ball, 3rd grade, Gwynn Elementary. All right. Next we have Danielle Barnes, 3rd grade, Green Valley Elementary. Tyson Batchelor, 2nd grade, Gwynn Elementary. I'm so sorry, Tyson. Bear with me.
Wow.
Thank you, Tyson. Next, we have Bentley Bowers, 12th grade, Spain Park. Next, we have Briggs Dixon, 2nd grade, Gwynn Elementary. Next, we have Wyatt Elliott, 5th grade, Gwynn Elementary. Next, we have Macklin Feather, 6th grade, Berry Middle School. Next, we have Addie Farrell, 11th grade, Spain Park High School. Next, we have Bear Gregory, 4th grade, Gwynn Elementary. Hamza Hamid, 5th grade, Gwynn Elementary. Miley Harbison, 2nd grade, Gwynn Elementary. Next, we have Brandon Jones, 11th grade, Spain Park High School. And Ozar Patel, 11th grade, Spain Park High School. Madeline Sproul, 3rd grade, Gwynn Elementary. And last we have Jada Williams, 6th grade, Berry Middle School. All right, guys, well, thank you so much for coming down.
You can just sit here.
Next, we'll be beginning honoring the Boy Scout and Girl Scout troops who served as our flag folding ceremony. We're going to be beginning with the Girl Scout troop 30117. The leaders of this group are Ann Batten and Cynthia Stafford. The first participant we will be honoring is Allie Stafford. Next will be Jane Bay. Next is Ella Reed. Next is Mimi Batten. Next is Lydia Byrne. Next would be Avery DeBerry. And last is Ariel Johnson. Our next group will be Boy Scout Troop 23. The leaders are Daryl Dinkle and Ted Moore. First, we will have Jonathan Dinkle. Next, Carson Owen, J.T. Foster, Christian Pagelski, Connor Smith, Hunter Hongen, Aiden Shriver, Connor Holt, and Bradley Murray. Next, we're doing honoring Cub Scout Pack 393. The leaders are Billy Curtis, Angie Smith, and Stephen Casey. Our first participant is Ian Smith. Next, we have Patrick Casey. Next is Jordan Curtis. Aiden King. CJ Akon. Tyler Reagan. Zachary King. Mitchell King. And Bentley Sadell.
Our next group is going to be, oh, sorry guys, I'm going to take a picture real quick. Thank you guys. Our next group is Cub Scout Pack 93. The leaders of this group are Carlton Watts, David Crossman, and Scott Nachtel. Our first is Parker Crossman. Alex Brockman. Kevin Brockman. Aiden Nattel. Nate Street. Felipe Ferreira. Sam Whittington. Conrad Fink. Sam Whitlock. Aiden Bergeron. Joelle Whitlock. Caleb Crossman. And Gabe Lipsy. All right, can I get a round of applause?
Make 2 rows, fellas, the short ones in the front and tall ones in the back.
Hey, hold your certificates up so you see the red.
On 3, 1, 2.
You're more photographers there. Y'all can get a little closer if you like.
All right, thanks guys. All right, and our last group is Girl Scout Troop 372. The leaders of this group are Deborah Lockridge and Sarah Cornett. Can I get Aaliyah Johnson? Capra Lockridge. Mary Alice Cornett. Chandler Smedley. And Selena Jones. All right.
Okay, y'all come on forward. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, and just to recognize one more artist, Hamza Hamid, could you come forward? Hamza is in the 5th grade at Gwynn Elementary. Veterans Committee, and thank you for doing that.
Real quick, in my wheelhouse now, where it's not so formal, all the kids are still here. Can I get y'all to stand up for a second? I'm gonna share something with y'all. This is for y'all. Yep, youngins. To me, y'all are the future. And I'll tell you, I'll give you a little short story. Some of you may not have been born. 2001, when we were attacked on September the 11th, I found myself in just a great place in 2002 and 2003 in Afghanistan. And I got over there, and what amazed me were the beauty of the children. And I was there with people that were a lot braver than me. And I was on a base, and they had secured a little village outside of our base. And I had some business in that village I had to go to. So I got me some folks that are going to protect me and take care of me and not let me get hurt. And as I'm getting ready to go, one of the sergeants told me, he said, "We need to go ahead and prepare you, sir. A lot of kids, and they want to come up and talk to you, and they want to spend time with you. And so just going to go ahead and forewarn you of that." I said, "Okay." So I got to looking around all the people who are going to protect me, and I said, "I feel pretty safe." So I emptied all my pockets. And I went and found a whole bunch of candy, and I loaded up my pockets with candy. You thought it was Halloween for me at home. And we get out in the town, and just as they said, all these kids came running out. And I was so overwhelmed, I just went to my knees in this dirty old street, and I started letting kids, hug me and hang on my neck, and I was giving them candy, and of course they're going in my pockets giving me candy. I was like a big trick-or-treat pumpkin. And well, apparently the smile on my face made an impression on some of these troops that went out there with me to protect me. When we got back to the base, they were like, "The look on your face is worth $1 million." And I said, "Let me tell you, those kids are the future of this country. If we can show them there is peace beyond this horrible war we're fighting, and that you can live with love and service to your fellow man, then we have a chance." And I come back and I look at y'all and I go, "Wow, look at this at y'all's age, and y'all are participating in an event like this." It tells me you've got great people in your life, whether it's parents, whether it's your guardians, whether it's your teachers at school. You have great people that are impressing upon you what's important. So my charge to y'all is, you're our future. We love each and every one of you, and we're setting things up. Hopefully they're going to be really good for y'all. But y'all carry that future and think about those kids that aren't as fortunate that we love also and want to have a future. And look at the organizations you're part of. Awesome organizations. Don't ever let your heart move too far away from service to your fellow man, to your country. And y'all are going to be an awesome future for what we now live in. So thank y'all very much for your participation in Veterans Week. Thank you to all the volunteers and everybody that helped out. Thanks to everybody on the committee, former members. Without the leadership they provided, we couldn't do it. We're going to get started on our 11th annual, and we're looking forward to it. But the kids, to me, that's what it's all about. And so thank y'all very much.
Each of you received a copy of the minutes of 11/3/14 regular meetings, 11/13/14 work session. So I take a motion.
Mr. President, I would move approval of both sets of minutes as provided without reservation.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Minutes are approved. Resolution 5185-14, Mr. Walker.
This resolution adopts the budget for fiscal year ending September 30, 2015.
Mr. President, if I may, before making a motion, I would like to say that every year when I see a budget, there's always something that I wish I could have done better. But the funding is what it is when you have it. I personally would like to thank the mayor since I've been in office. And with that, Mr. President, I will move for approval resolution 5185-14.
Mr. President, I'd like to say that I do regret that this budget does not include increased funding for the Hoover City Schools. In my opinion, there is room in this budget to increase the funding for the schools and still maintain the quality services now provided to the citizens, as well as fund the employees' cost of living raise.
I need a motion. We got a motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion from the council. Discussion from the audience. Yes, sir. Come up and state your name and address.
Yes, sir. Good evening. My name is Dennis Quirk. I'm a resident of Hoover, and I have, believe it or not, for an old guy like me, I got 3 young kids in the city schools. I guess I'd like to know, to follow up on the gentleman's comments, how the level of $2 million is determined each year from 2004 forward. How's that number arrived at?
Let me help you with that. The Hoover City Schools received $85.6 million from the 1-cent sales tax that the county passed in 2007. At that time, that $85 million had raised their fund balance, their reserves, to $150 million plus. The city reduced its share to $2 billion, since all the money would be adding to the surplus. The $2 million appropriated to the city each year would allow the Hoover cities to draw down this money at a rate greater than or equal to the previous funding of $8 million for 12 years, beginning with the fiscal year 2008. That leaves 5 years to go on equal funding with that sales tax. That's how it was arrived at.
Okay, I guess the question is, with all the additional budget line items, and I'm, again, grasping a time frame from 2004 to 2013, each budget line item in City of Hoover increased significantly, the least of which was 18%. So my question is that at what point in time do you feel as though that the education system would require and raise to a level of priority where the funding would increase?
When they request it.
Okay, and so do they go through the same criteria that all the other budget departments that make a request?
They do, and the fact of the matter is the city has approximately $32 million in reserves in our operating account at the moment. The schools have $90 million.
Mr. President, if I may.
If you would let me continue, I'm sorry. But right now, the schools have $90 million in reserves. You aware of that?
I am aware of that.
Okay. The city has $32 million.
I'm sorry, the gentleman was first.
He's asking you a question.
Yeah, I am aware of that. My question is, they are running a deficit every year.
They're running an operational deficit.
With a 23% increase in enrollment, with reduced federal and state funding, and to me, it's an untenable situation. We can't control what the federal and state government do to direct. I mean, we can by our votes, obviously, but I think we as the city leaders and the city of Hoover can control what we do to support. And each year, I have an older daughter who is now at Auburn, and when we came back to Hoover, I can see that the teacher-student ratio has changed significantly. I guess my concern is, at some point in time, we want City of Hoover to continue to grow, which you guys have done a great job, and it's a wonderful city. We lived here before we came back. But my question is, at some point in time, that deficit is going to catch up, and it's not going to be too long, and it's not going to be a situation where either the Hoover City Schools, who cannot raise money, they have no ability to raise money, all they can do.
Okay, let's get some terms. The deficit is around $6 million. It was projected to be 16 or 18 a year
Correct,
ago.
correct.
That 16 or 18 didn't happen. It dropped down closer to 10.
Correct.
And they were over $100 million at that point.
Mm-hmm.
The deficit at this point is in the $6 million range. So there's no danger to our school system. Our school system needs to require 3 months of reserves, which is $37 million. So to that extent, they're about $47 million to the good in overfunding in their reserves. The city, 2 weeks ago, I personally talked, Mr. Craig expressed that the school system is in wonderful financial shape and made no request for additional funds. And since Mr. Craig runs the school system, as we speak, and there's been no request for additional funding, it's a moot point to ask the council for additional funding.
Would you consider additional funding if, whatever the new superintendent, if they came and asked for additional funding, would you
If
consider?
they would justify it with their budget, absolutely.
Okay, that's fair
I
enough.
would also point out that this budget isn't strictly a blueprint. The city has never finished a year with the budget approved by the council at the end of the year. There's several reasons for that. Things change. Rocks fall on Highway 31 like they did this morning. 280 floods in the Hoover portion like it did this morning. We have additional revenues. The city creates tax savings like the $1.5 million presently in the sewer issue, between $1.5 million and $2 million. Admiral Natterall, through his bidding and his questioning, saved $87,000 last week on our sewer operation alone. So we have been very prudent in managing our money and saving the taxpayers a great deal of money, which creates additional revenue and keeps our taxes as low as possible. So we have that possibility of additional revenue. We don't have the emergency expenses, but we can certainly entertain, and we have additional possibilities in sales tax and have a better year. We have always projected revenue very conservatively, so we're pleasantly pleased because Mr. Lopez back there is one of the, that is very rarely, if ever, failed to under-project our revenues. Would we entertain an amendment to the budget? We did it 20 times approximately out of 24 meetings last year. We know how to amend the budget. We can do it every Monday night. So all we're passing and all we're looking at tonight is a balanced budget, a blueprint, and it's subject to change every month. So let's not take this thing as some kind of absolute final verdict. It's an open book. It's a changing plan. We're going to be flexible and we're going to be balanced, and we're not going to raise taxes, and we're not going to spend taxpayers' money unwisely.
Well, I appreciate that. I guess in closing, again, thank you for the opportunity to speak to the council. I guess the only thing I would say is that having been in business for 36 years, no governmental agency and no business ever has enough money to fund all of its needs. It's a matter of priorities, and I guess what I look at is the federal and state funding has been cut back to 23% increase in enrollment. I just see that in the future this is going to lead to an issue, and I appreciate your willingness to listen to whoever the new superintendent may be, because I think it's a real need for our community. I mean, I agree with the gentleman. He said that these children are our future, and money isn't the only answer. It isn't the only answer, but it does certainly help. And again, I appreciate your time.
I appreciate your comment. I appreciate your questions.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Introduce yourself.
This resolution awards bid 3214 for ballistic vests, carrier plates to GT Distributors Incorporated. Two vendors submitted bids for these items. The GT Distributors bid of $77,875 was the lowest responsible bid, meeting all specifications and requirements. This resolution also authorizes the mayor to execute an agreement with GT Distributors for work to be performed.
Mr. President, I'll move for approval of resolution 5186-14.
Second.
Have a motion second. Discussion from the council. Discussion from the audience. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. The resolution passes. Resolution 5187-14, Mr. Waldron.
This resolution awards bid number 3014 for wastewater system management operations and maintenance services to Clearwater Solutions. Three vendors submitted bids for the services. Clearwater Solutions bid of $788,000 was the lowest responsible bid, meeting all specifications and requirements. This resolution also authorizes the mayor to execute an agreement with Clearwater Solutions for the work to be performed.
Mr. President, I would move for approval of resolution 5187-14.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion from the council. Discussion from the audience. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Resolution passes. Resolution 5188-14, Mr. Waldron.
This resolution provides for the implementation of the Severe Weather Preparedness Sales Tax Holiday passed by the Alabama Legislature as Act number 2012-256. All covered items as set forth in the Act will be exempted from payment of municipal sales and use tax during the period from 12:01 a.m. on Friday, February 20, 2015, and ending midnight on Sunday, April 22nd, 2015.
Mr. President, I would move for approval of resolution 5188-14.
Second.
Motion second, discussion from the council. Discussion from the audience. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Resolution passes. Resolution 5189-14, Mr. Walker.
This resolution authorizes the mayor to execute agreements with QCHC Inc. to provide health services to inmates in the city's jail facility. For these services, the city will pay QCHC a monthly base price of $8,372.32.
Mr. President, I would move for approval of resolution 5189-14.
Second.
Have a motion second, discussion from the council.
Mr. President, as Admiral Matter brought up during the work session, in the agreement, it identifies that we're paying for per guest, I guess, in the jail, to the tune of about 45 people. I just want to verify that there's no room for adjustments if we are housing 65 or 70, if it's going to stay the same.
It's the same. It's a flat. So that amount of the contract, no matter if you have more or less.
Thank you, sir.
Additional questions from the council? Questions from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Resolution passes. Resolution 5190-14, Mr. Walker.
This resolution authorizes the mayor to accept a grant comprising of 75% federal share for the proposed City of Hoover floodplain management plan.
Mr. President, I would move for approval of resolution 5190-14.
Second.
I have a motion second, any discussion from the council? Any from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Resolution passes. Resolution 5191-14, Mr. Walker.
This resolution authorizes the mayor to execute a claims service contract with Alternative Service Concepts, LLC.
Mr. President, I would move for approval of resolution 5191-14.
Second.
Motion second, discussion from the council. Discussion from the audience. For those in the audience that aren't familiar with our meetings, we had a work session last Thursday, and all these items were discussed at length, which is why the brevity maybe of the discussion tonight. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Resolution passes. Resolution 5192-14.
This resolution authorizes the mayor to execute a subscriber services agreement with Excelligent Inc. to provide a searchable, comprehensive commercial database of available properties located within the city limits of Hoover.
Need a motion.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 5192-14.
Second.
Motion second, discussion from the council. No, I'm on 13.
I'm sorry.
Okay, discussion from the council on item 13, resolution 5192-14. Discussion from the audience. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Resolution passes. We have a first reading ordinance number 142265. Mr. Walker.
This ordinance would grant a 30-year water franchise to the Birmingham Water Works Board. The franchise would grant the Water Board the right to acquire, own, maintain, construct, and/or enlarge, as well as the right to construct and maintain pipes, mains, and other conductors, fixtures, and related appurtenances for the purpose of conveying and distributing water in and through the city. The Birmingham Water Works Board would also be granted the authority to repair, renew, and relay and extend such pipes, mains, conductors, fixtures, and related appurtenances, and will pay the city a 3% franchise fee.
First reading of ordinance number 142265. Need a motion to approve the ABC applications for Jim and Nick's Birmingham LLC to change in ownership. Previous approvals of Jim and Nick's 1810 Montgomery Highway and Jim and Nick's 2831 Greystone, both in Hoover.
Mr. President, I move for approval of the application. Second.
Motion second, any discussion from the council? Any from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They're approved. Motion to approve ABC applications. 010 Lounge Retail Liquor Class 1. Era Masuka LLC, doing business as Barris's Bar, 1535 Montgomery Highway. This is a change in ownership on a previous approved site.
Mr. President, I move for approval of the application.
Second.
Motion second, discussion from the council. Discussion from the audience. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion's approved. Well, the public hearing now to consider the adoption by reference of the 2015 International Codes, 2014 National Electric Codes, and the Alabama Energy Residential Codes with proposed modifications, and we will continue this to our 2-1 meeting as well. 12. 12-1, 12-2, 12-1. 12-1. Anything on the public hearing, and anyone like to speak? Hearing none, we'll continue that to our next meeting. Public hearing for consider the request of Pastor Chris Peters, Cross Creek Church, for conditional use approval of property located at 5225 Ross Ridge Parkway, 3 parcels, to be used for the site of the new Cross Creek Church. This property is owned by Mr. Charles Diggs and Deer Valley Partners LLC. The property is zoned C2 Community Business District, CP Preferred Commercial Office District.
Mr. President, I move for approval of the conditional use.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion from the council? Any from the audience? Anyone opposed to the project? Hearing no opposition, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The project's approved. We're setting public hearings for Monday, December 15th, our second meeting in December at 6. To consider the following request. Nimrod Long, Associates representing United States Steel Corporation, is requesting conditional use for a park to be located at 420 Renaissance Drive. The owner of the property is United States Steel. Property is on PR1 Plan Single Family. Covenant Bank is requesting conditional use approval for a gas station convenience store to be located at 1810 Doug Baker Boulevard. Covenant Bank is a property owner and property is on C2 Business. Payment of bills, Mr. Smith.
Mr. President, I've reviewed the bills and make a motion that they be paid in full as presented. Second.
Motion second. Any discussion from the council? Any from the audience? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Paid bills, Mr. Yeager. Comments and questions from the council?
Mr. President, maybe if we could remind the citizens of the time of our next scheduled meeting. I believe it's going to be a little
It's
early.
4 o'clock because we have a tree lighting and we're not going to meet on Thanksgiving evening. The agenda will not justify a Thanksgiving Day meeting previously approved by the council. Everyone's invited to both the meeting and the tree lighting. There's some talk of snow that night. Additional comments from the council? Additional comments from
Mr. President, I'd just like to make the statement that the general public may not realize, but the council, every one of us, put in an awful lot of time going through the budget throughout the year, seeing what is needed, studying it, thinking about it, discussing it, and then voted on it. And I think it's just absolutely regrettable that some of the citizens, either not knowing what's going on or not knowing the depth of which this budget is studied, thought out, and determined, that there comes to name calling of individuals on the council. And I think it's a detriment to the city, and it's not in keeping with the citizenry and what we expect from our citizens. I just think it's regrettable that it's gotten to that point. Thank you, sir.
additional comments from the council? Comments from the citizens?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sure. Re-identify yourself.
I'm Robert Schultz, out of our way. I'd like to first thank Mr. Wright, Mr. Greene, and the mayor for attending our meeting last month. I thought it was very productive. The feedback we got from the residents was very positive. What I'd like to discuss tonight in brief is something that's not going to happen next year or the year after that or the year after that, but something that's ultimately going to happen in about 5 years, and that is the rezoning of the people that live in the Bluff Park and the Shades Mountain area to attend high school in Spain Park. It's going to be imminent. There is no way to get around it. And one of the things that needs to be done now, not when it actually happens in 3, 4 years, 5 years, is this council and the board need to start planning on looking at Acton Road in getting those kids to Spain Park from the Shades Mountain area. I work on Acton Road, and over the last 2 weeks there was a pipe that had to be changed right by the country club. Traffic comes to a standstill. It stops. And it's not Hoover, but our kids, yes, it is not Hoover, but our kids travel through that area to get to a Hoover High School. Okay, so in order for them to make passage to to Spain Park High School from the Shades Mountain area, all the communities and all the jurisdictions that are in that area, which include Vestavia, the county, Shelby County, I'm sure, and Hoover, need to get together now and start to think about what to do about Acton Road. Right now, Acton Road is not a feasible way for 400, 500, 600 more kids to make their way from the Shades Mountain area to Spain Park. Mr. Light and I have talked about that in the past, and it's something to look at today. I don't know what needs to be done. I don't know what departments of Hoover need to get with the departments of the other communities and the other jurisdictions. But we can't wait until it actually happens, until the superintendent, whoever the superintendent is at the time, says, okay, we need to move these kids over there.
Well, question one is the county road.
Yes.
It's a county road.
Okay.
So that's the answer to the first part of the
Okay. The thing is, the city of Hoover needs to get with the county then, and they need to start working in getting that road straightened out. The other part, I mean, if any of you have ever driven in the mornings on 459, it's NASCAR. It is NASCAR. I've been driving for 30, 40 years, and I'm telling you, it's a challenge every single morning. And you put a 16-year-old out there, it's going to be an even bigger challenge. But we need to think ahead. We need to be proactive on this as opposed to reactive when it actually happens. And so if we can get, if the council can get with the correct department and start to work with Jefferson County, that we start to work on that road to get those kids over there safely, if and when it happens.
Well, the road needs improvement regardless. And I appreciate your point. It's well made.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming. Additional comments in the audience? Hearing none, we're adjourned.